What is up, everyone? It is your boy Farai, the fidget spinner, and today we're going to be looking at a cool Post Malone type recording template, and yeah, pretty much just how to get the Post Malone sound. I did watch a few tutorials on the internet a few months ago. Not so great. But yeah, anyway, let's get straight into it. I'll play it. I won't waste your time.
Swerving, swerving, swerving like vroom. We swagging, just drop the roof. Cruising, cruising around town. I might pull up by your girl. We moving in the air. We swerving, yeah. Don't feel like doing nothing today.
Cool. If you enjoyed the sound of that, please drop a like at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Smash the like button. Do what you need to do. It is much appreciated. Yeah, let's get straight into this. So the first thing that we'll look at is the basically, obviously, the mono channel or the main channel or the main lead or whatever you want to call it. I just call it the mono channel because it is always dead center mono, as is every other recording, but it is intended to be mono. So we go from main to mono channel, right? Before we go to the mono channel where the processing is happening, we are doing a bit of pitch shifting, right? Which is auto-tune, whatever you want to call that. We're going for very minimal retune speed, that's what it's called. Basically like 60, 61, which is really, you know, 60% of 100% of 100, if that's the final value. I don't know what auto-tune also does, 100 or 127. No, that's MIDI. Anyway, cool. So after that, we're doing a bit of de-essing, right? You can use whatever de-esser you like. We've got the official Fruity de-esser, well equipped with latency. Very minimal latency, but anyway, that doesn't matter. You can just check that out for yourself quickly.
Swerving like vroom. We swagging, just drop the roof. Cruising around town.
So yeah, very minimal, nothing too extreme. Just the kind of, you know, post music is very melodic, very warm. You know what I'm saying? It's not like overblown with treble like Lil Wayne, someone who is my favorite rapper, by the way. But yeah, pretty much EQ wise, we're just getting rid of what needs to be gotten rid of and doing a bit of boosting here and there, a bit of cutting. That is all project dependent, which means voice dependent, right? So these exact settings are going to be a good starting point, but it is always good to go and kind of filter through your own voice. This is the Thnks voice, so you know, we know what the Thnks voice sounds like, and we're able to kind of treat it necessary. But I'll explain it quickly. We're doing a bit of high boost, but mostly we're doing cutting around the 200 area, which is kind of the boxy area. We're doing a bit of kind of 500 removal, which is low mids, also kind of muddy area if needed. You know, if you don't need to EQ it out, you don't have to. And 7,700 is generally quite sizzly, so you can pretty much get rid of that. And I'll just play that A-B for you. You can hear what it sounds like.
Swerving like vroom. We swagging, just drop the roof. Cruising.
So yeah, pretty much just making bass, making space for the bass. And we're using this kind of, I don't know what the word is right now. Very kind of non-steep, let's just call it a non-steep roll-off. I can't remember what the opposite of steep is right now, but the more steeper you go, the more non-musical it gets. That's what I always studied it to be like. And yeah, we do this because we want a kind of more vintage sound, so we go for a much less steep roll-off. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Compression wise, we're using the free modern 7th sign, which is basically a 1176 kind of remake. We are using very general settings on it, very basic attack and release, or fairly fast attack, or no, fairly long release. Yeah, it's the opposite way around, I always forget. But yeah, pretty much a ratio of 8 to 1, so when it kicks in pretty hard and does what it needs to do. A little trick if you don't want to do too much compression, because the more compression you do, the more kind of obviously squished your voice gets, but also the more artifact kind of rubs off from the compressor, so you're kind of taking away from the natural sound of the voice. So one little technique that I like to do is pretty much just manually get in there. If you're doing this in Pro Tools, you can use clip gain, but pretty much just figure out a way to make sure that any parts that are really loud. So for example, here you can see this clip over here kind of looks loud in amplitude and everything else, so you can just kind of go in and turn the volume down, clip gain, whatever you call it in your DAW. This is just the way we do it in FL Studio. And yeah, the next thing we do is just a bit of high-end removal, because as I said earlier, when you listen to post music, it's very warm, it's very musical. This doesn't need to be a musical area. The only things that kind of hang around there are the hi-hats, the air of the song. And as I say, it's very much project dependent. If you don't need that much kind of high sizzle air, you can get rid of it. When you go to MP3, MP3 is getting rid of that area or the side channels, so it is kind of worthwhile to kind of just start slowly sculpting away what you don't need. So yeah, pretty much if you want to know what's going on around the monovocal, because the monovocal on its own is very dry, right? So if we mute these 3 channels and then get rid of the second layer,
swerving like room. We swagging, just drop the roof, cruising.
And then yeah, we got a nice little reverb going on there, which I'll let you hear.
Swerving.
Just the basic kind of room. And we're doing a little bit of delay. Unfortunately, this instrumental has sync drift in it, which is a nightmare, right? I could explain to you quickly what sync drift is, especially in FL Studio. If you are not into FL Studio, you don't have to worry about this. But basically, somebody starts a beat off right on beat, as you can see. That's on beat. And then I think what they end up doing is doing something like that, right? Where it's like a millimeter off, and then they copy paste. And by the time they get to here, look at that, you got sync drift. So, I can almost see what problem this guy had here. Reproduced by Jimmy. Thank you for making this beat. It is awesome. It sounds amazing. Just the sync drift was the only issue, but I guess we can't complain about free stuff. So, my bad. But yeah, I used to do it all the time. I've had beats where the sync drifts, and it's just really annoying. Anyway, back to regular scheduled programming. We're doing a bit of delay. Obviously, we can't. There's no point in really doing big delay because it drifts. And 30 likes, and I'll link this to this because this sounds cool. It did take me at least 20 minutes to create that thing, so I'll appreciate it if we can trade, likes for great sound. Anyway, yeah, and then from there on out on the vocal master bus, we are doing kind of a bit more de-essing just to get rid of some more sibilance. Swerving like room. Minimal. We swagging, just drop the roof. And EQ, which we are not using. And yeah, pretty much a little bit of vocal master EQ, just kind of figuring out the place where your voice is the warmest or kind of needs to stick out. And as you can see over here, and we're just doing a bit more, kind of notching away, getting rid of what we don't like. But this area I kind of find very post Malone-ish, if that makes any sense. We'll just kind of copy this value and then just kind of boost it so you can hear what it sounds like exaggerated. Swerving like room. You know what I mean? It kind of has that nice little sound to it. And it's musical with the music. You must always EQ towards the instrumental to make space between the two. And yeah, let's just listen to this area. Swerving. So yeah, it doesn't sound too good boosted, and obviously I boosted too much, but you get the idea of the concept and whatever. And yeah, we're using a bit of Magic, the modern Black Dragon, which is basically a Pultec style EQ, massive curves, just to give it a nice kind of vintage sound. Post Malone does have a nice kind of old school sound. He is a singer-songwriter, not so much a rapper, so he's got a more kind of diverse mixing sound per se, not so much in this song but just in general. And yeah, we're pretty much just doing attenuation, which means to subtract. We're getting rid of a bit of 100 just to get rid of the boominess. We're doing a bit of 12k boost just for some air. And we're doing some 20k attenuation again, just to kind of slope away the rest of the high end. As you see, we sculpt slowly kind of getting our sound, you know what I mean? So as you can see, over time, we get rid of 16k. We do a bit of 20k attenuation, etc., etc. Eventually, you can get a nice sound. A lot of the times, I don't like to just, for example, if I'm gonna trim away 16k, kind of just trim it away one time. You kind of need to do it over maybe twice to really get that sound, in my experience. But yeah, the next thing we're doing is a bit of air windows. Shout out air windows. Shout out Marcin and Chris. Yeah, 64-bit, really nice little free plugins. Feel free to go and donate to Chris's PayPal. He makes these plugins, just for the fun of it, but also really, it really helps all of us get that nice SSL kind of sound, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go. This is the Logical 4, which is the bus compressor SSL. And as you can see, we're just doing a bit of compression at -9. So let's kind of see where that hits.
Swerving, swerving, swerving like room, we swagging.
So absolutely no compression, but we are doing a bit of makeup gain. And yeah, I mean, really just simple stuff. General purpose, I don't know what that is. I think that was a mid-band compressor, just to kind of glue the middle area together.
Swerving, swerving, swerving like room, we swagging, just drop the roof.
And that's really the glue after the SSL. And yeah, a bit of limiting, basic stuff. As you can see over here, we have the destroyer channel, which I'll get to last. But yeah, if you've watched the J. Cole template, you would know that. This gets all the interesting stuff, which is the kind of background singing. I'll just kind of solo that. So yeah, the most important thing is to know when to ad-lib. There's no point in kind of filling up a song with ad-libs all the time if it doesn't call for it. Trap beats, Gucci Mane is the kind of famous guy for doing all the ad-libs to fill up a song, really arrange a song with ad-libs. Migos, famous Thnks, there are a bunch of people that do it. But in this kind of scenario, the song is very airy and melodic. You don't need it filled up, so it's very important to know when to come in and out. But yeah, you can kind of hear the Stig decided to kind of go for every second word, I think it is, but just listen in.
Swerving, swerving, swerving like room, we swagging, just drop the roof, cruising around town.
And then kind of a nice...
We moving in the air, we swerving, yeah. Don't feel like doing nothing today.
So yeah, as you can see, every few words you can use to emphasize. And on this channel we have another picture, which is a bit more auto-tuney, just a little bit more. We don't want to, have one part being T-Pain and one part being Post Malone, if that makes any sense. We're doing a bit of kind of just EQ thinning out, sculpting, just to make sure that our vocal fits in a different space. You can trim away the low end and the high end to create a sense of depth. That's another way of creating, kind of distance between two different sources. And yeah, bit of compression, hard compression, just to make sure that everything is kind of coming out at the same level. And blood overdrive, just because we need that distortion to really make a quieter source stick out in the mix more. Or from my experience, harmonic distortion, I guess, which this is, really helps in that regard. So yeah, we're also doing a bit of reverb 1, which I really love the sound of. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'll just solo that one more time so you can hear. Space reverb. So yeah, very swaggy, as you can see. Reverse reverb, which no one probably heard, but it is there, and that's what reverse reverbs are all about in hip-hop, is to make them sound like they're not there, but they just add a little to the song. So yeah, that is a great sounding template right there. If you did learn something, feel free to drop a like. Oh yeah, destroy a channel. Wave shaper plus a proto killer. There you go. Awesome little secret. Instrumental, excited if it sounds trash. Limiter, getting rid of 16K. This is all me for broadcast sake, and yeah, not important, but yeah, I hope you learned something. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because we do real cool stuff here. A lot of boring experiments, but if you are into the art of audio engineering, you might just enjoy yourself. Yeah, have a good one. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to the notification people that like support and comment on every video. I appreciate it very much. It means the world to me to have a community on the internet that appreciate the stuff we can put out. And peace out.